Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're diving into the night when CEO Alex catches Tu Na's debt-ridden ex lurking outside the farm fence and is forced to choose: call the police or face him alone to
My
protect
darling,
Henry.
I have to go now.
If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to
miss you.
subscribe so you won't miss the next episodes. The day after the wedding, the farm felt as if it were still wrapped in soft echoes of music and laughter. The bamboo arch Alex and his workers had built remained standing, marigolds drooping after a long night of joy. White ribbons clung to the fence like tired dancers refusing to leave the stage. A half-deflated balloon squeaked from a low branch whenever the breeze nudged it, as if whispering that the celebration wasn't over yet. Inside the small house, Tu Na folded her wedding dress slowly, almost reverently, as though she were tucking away an entire chapter of her life. Across the bed, Henry crawled toward Alex's vest, fascinated by its shiny buttons. "Hey, mister," she teased, catching his hand. "Those are Daddy's only fancy clothes." From the doorway, Alex watched them with the quiet look he'd been wearing more often these days, a mix of gratitude, disbelief, and the fragile fear that joy could disappear if he blinked too long. "Tired?" he asked softly. "A little, but the good kind." He crossed the room, lifted Henry, and kissed his cheek. Boss Henry slept through all the noise, even when my mom almost cried from happiness. "Don't exaggerate," Tu Na smiled, though she remembered it vividly, how Alex's mother held Henry close during the ceremony, whispering secrets to him, how his sister wiped her eyes when she thought no one was watching. For the first time in years, Tu Na allowed herself to believe a dangerous thought: we're safe now. By afternoon, the rhythm of life quietly returned. Alex left for the factory, promising he'd be home before dark. Tu Na swept the yard, scrubbed dishes, checked the pigs, and rinsed the last of the wedding pots under the outdoor tap. Mrs. Tang stopped by with leftover grilled chicken and sticky rice. "Eat this tonight," she insisted. "You've cooked for an entire village already." They laughed, and when the old woman left, sunlight was sinking behind the hills, painting the cassava leaves silver. By the time Henry slept, the sky had thickened into deep purple. Tu Na latched the door, closed the windows, and sat beside her son, absorbing the familiar night sounds: crickets, dogs barking, bamboo rustling. Then something unfamiliar slipped through the quiet, a faint crunch, heavier than a cat, slower than a wandering chicken. Her pulse stopped mid-beat. She listened, telling herself it was nothing. Maybe a pig shifting in its pen, maybe a neighbor heading home late. But the sound came again. Measured footsteps outside the fence, a dry twig snapping. Henry sighed in his sleep, unaware. Barefoot, instinctive, Tu Na moved to the window and lifted the curtain just enough to see the yard. The moon lit thin silver lines on the ground. She spotted the fence, the water jar, the onion rack. But beyond that, near the cassava field, a shadow shifted, then froze, then slipped back into darkness. A cold shiver rippled down her arms. "Alex?" she almost called out, then stopped. He wouldn't be creeping silently around the field. Not like that. She waited. 1 minute, then another. The night swallowed the noise, returning only the hum of crickets. "Probably nerves," she whispered. "The wedding isn't even out of my head yet." She lay down beside Henry. Sleep came eventually, but not because she felt safe, only because her body gave up the fight. The second night, the fear returned. The day had been normal. Workers dropping by with gifts, Alex's mother calling, Henry napping well. Everything looked warm and ordinary, the kind of peace she wished she could freeze in place. But when darkness settled, her unease crawled back, cold and unwelcome. She lay still, hand resting on Henry's back. 1, 2, 3. There. That soft pressure of grass under a human weight. A pause. Another step. This time she didn't go to the window. She remained frozen, breathing shallowly, her ears sharpened to a painful edge. A metallic clink echoed from the gate, like a belt buckle brushing bamboo. She nearly whispered, "Who's there?" but swallowed the words. Old instincts warned her that announcing herself might be the worst thing she could do. The footsteps lingered, then drifted away, or so she hoped. In the morning, Alex returned dusty and tired. He asked about her sleep and she smiled, pretending. But when she swept the yard, she saw it. An unfamiliar footprint pressed into the dirt near the fence, wider than hers, deeper than Alex's, fresh. Her heart argued, just a worker, but her gut whispered something else. She made a silent bargain. If it happens again tonight, I'll tell Alex. The third night, the wind grew restless. Clouds raced across the sky. The house felt smaller, fragile, like a lantern in a storm. Henry refused to sleep, fussing as if he sensed her fear. She walked him in circles, humming until he relaxed. After laying him down, she sat beside the bed, lamp lowered to a dim glow. She tried thinking about chores, repairs, market trips, anything to distract herself, but beneath every thought lurked the same quiet question. Who keeps coming? And why? Then the silence broke, not at the fence this time, closer. A soft brush against the wall, a board creaking under weight. Her heart slammed against her ribs. She reached toward the lamp, then stopped. Light might comfort her, but it would also reveal her exact position to whoever stood outside. Her trembling fingers closed instead around her phone. Alex's name glowed at the top of her call list. She hesitated only a breath before tapping it. He answered quickly. "You're still awake?" "Alex," she whispered, voice thin with fear. "For the past few nights, someone's been walking outside the fence. Tonight, they're right by the house." A short pause, then his tone shifted instantly into something firm and controlled. "Are the doors locked?" "Yes." "Lights off?" "Yeah, Henry's sleeping." "Good," Alex said. "Stay inside. Don't open the door. Stand close to Henry. I'm coming." "But you're still at—" "I'm already on my way." He cut in gently, decisively. "Keep the phone close. If you hear anything else, whisper. Don't speak out loud." He hung up. The house fell into a heavier silence, taut, like a rope stretched between them. One end in her shaking hand, the other in his grip as he raced home through the dark. Outside, the footsteps circled again, slow, intentional. A dog barked far away. A motorcycle engine echoed faintly, then faded. Tu Na stood by the bed, one hand on Henry's back, the other clutching the phone, eyes locked on the door as if she could hold it closed with sheer will. For the first time since the wedding, peace felt impossibly far away. Alex's motorbike tore through the dark like a single silver stroke across a black canvas. The road to the farm was familiar. He had driven it hundreds of times. But tonight, every curve felt hostile, every patch of shadow swollen with threat. His left hand gripped the handlebars. His right was balled so tight the tendons trembled. He tried calling again. This time, Tu Na answered instantly. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Where are you?" "Almost at the gate," he said, forcing his voice steady. "Don't turn on any lights. Don't step outside. If someone's really out there, I'll deal with it first. I'll call when it's safe." Vang, please be careful, she breathed. Behind her words, he imagined Henry's faint, hiccup-soft breathing, a sound he feared he might lose if he arrived too late. At the final bend, Alex cut the engine and let the bike glide forward in darkness. The farm emerged as a darker lump against the cloudy sky. No lamps, no motion. If someone was waiting, they might still think he hadn't arrived. He hid the bike behind a cluster of bushes, killed the headlight, and stood motionless. The engine ticked as it cooled. Crickets chirped, thin and nervous. Then he heard it. A subtle scrape along the side fence. Too slow for an animal. Too deliberate for the wind. A careful, testing movement. The same pattern Tuna had described with trembling lips. His eyes adjusted to the shapes in the yard. The bamboo fence. The round water jars. The lopsided onion rack. Near the cassava rows, something crouched low, shifting just enough to disturb the dirt. Alex raised his phone, flicked on the flashlight, and slashed a beam of white across the shadows. "Who's there?" His voice carried low but unyielding. "It's late. This is private land. Step where I can see you." The shadow flinched. An arm shot up to block the glare. Then an irritated click of the tongue. "Alex Joha." "Thought it was someone else," a voice spat. Alex's jaw locked. "Huang An." He stepped forward, keeping distance, the light exposing the man's face, hollow eyes, bitter frown, the sour smell of old alcohol clinging to him. "What are you doing here?" Alex asked, voice controlled. "This isn't your home. She isn't your wife. And whatever you think you're doing, it ends tonight." Huang An let out a dry laugh. "The house is gone. Fine. But the kid? No la contao. I can't even stand outside the fence and look at my own son now?" The way he stressed my son dug under Alex's ribs. Not because it was untrue, but because it was the string Huang An always yanked when cornered. "You call this looking?" Alex said sharply. "3 nights lurking in the dark?" "If you called or knocked, that's one thing. Sneaking around is something else entirely. You know that." "You always act righteous," Huang An sneered, stepping closer. "Since the day you showed up, my life collapsed. My ex-wife left. I lost everything. Everyone sees me as a failure, and you? The hero CEO who swooped in and saved her." Alex didn't move, though he felt his pulse hammering. Behind him, the house rested like a fragile shadow. He pictured Tuna inside, clutching Henry, listening through thin walls. "You wrote your own tragedy," Alex replied. "You signed the loans. You gambled. You pushed a pregnant woman out of your house. Don't rewrite history just because you don't like how it ended." "And you?" Huang An barked. "You give her a home, give her work, roi koi voku kwa tao, even take my kid. Is that saving her? Or stealing what was mine?" The air thickened like fog. "Tuna doesn't belong to anyone," Alex said. "She left because you hurt her. As for Henry, if you want to be his father, stop being a shadow crawling around the yard at midnight." For a heartbeat, Alex thought he might attack. Instead, Huang An jabbed a finger toward the house. "You think Tao Kong Dam Vo?" I shout once. "She has to come out. She owes me a grandchild, a family name." Alex stepped into his path, voice icy. "One more step and I'll continue what I started. I filed a report when Henry was taken before. That case is still open. You stalk them again, and the police won't call it family matters. They'll call it a crime." A dog barked in the distance. A neighbor's light flicked on. "You going to tell the police you married another man's wife?" Huang An hissed. "People will talk." "I have nothing to hide," Alex said. "Our wedding was legal. Everyone saw it. If you want to talk about it, do it at the committee in daylight, not hiding by the fence like this." The blow landed. He saw it in the twitch of Huang An's mouth, in his uneven breath. "I just want to see my son," he muttered, the fight draining from his voice. "I'm only looking. I didn't do anything." 3 nights, Alex repeated. "If I hadn't shown up tonight, what next? Climb the fence, take him again?" Silence, sharp, accusing. For the first time, fear flickered in Huang An's eyes. "What if he forgets me?" he whispered. "What if he doesn't know I'm his father?" "Then act like one," Alex said. "Go through the proper way. Police, mediators, talk to me. I won't stop you if it's safe for him. But if you keep sneaking around, I'll protect him until the very end." Behind them, the gate creaked. "Alex, are you okay?" Tu Na's voice trembled. "Close the door," he said gently. "Stay with Henry. Let me finish." Their eyes met through a narrow gap, hers wide, glistening. She nodded and locked the door again. Jealousy and humiliation twisted across Huang An's face. "See? She hides behind you. She used to hide behind me too." "You wasted that chance," Alex replied. "This is my last warning." A faint glow appeared at the road's end. Headlights from the village patrol. The truck passed slowly. A man waved. Alex nodded back. Huang An shrank into the shadows. "You call them?" he hissed. "Not yet," Alex said. "But next time I will. And they'll add repeat offender to your file." The threat landed. The farm no longer felt like a place he could haunt without consequence. "No, Mat Tao, this isn't over," Huang An muttered weakly. "You always say that," Alex answered. "But you're the one walking away." Eventually, Huang An turned and disappeared down the road, footsteps fading into the night. Only when normal sounds returned did Alex finally exhale. The gate opened. Tu Na stood there, Henry heavy on her shoulder, eyes wet. Her voice cracked. Alex drew them both into his arms at once. "He's not coming in," he murmured. "I won't let anyone scare you again." Tears slipped down her face. "I should have told you sooner. I hoped it would stop. It only got worse. You don't face this alone anymore," Alex said. "This house is ours. Let me protect you." "What if he comes back?" "Then next time the law handles him," Alex said. "My only job is keeping you and Henry safe." Inside, while Henry slept across her lap, Alex laid out the plan. Talk to the police, formalize the complaint, add lights along the fence, warn trusted neighbors. "When storms come," he told her, brushing a hand through her hair, "we stand on the same side." And when the new light above the gate flicked on the next evening, it felt like drawing a line in the dark, one no shadow would cross without facing Alex first. In this episode, Alex races home through the night after Tu Na calls in fear, sensing someone lurking outside the farm. When he arrives, he confronts Huang An, her desperate, debt-ridden ex-husband who has been hiding around the property for 3 nights, claiming he only wants to see his son. Tension escalates as Alex warns him that any further stalking will become a police matter. After the patrol passes and Huang An retreats, Alex reassures Tu Na and lays out a plan to protect their small family. Together, they begin drawing a firm boundary against the past threatening their peace.